Hey, it's Showerbread here, and I've got a Feral Druid PvP guide for Arena and Battlegrounds with 7.15, and I'll explain talents and the rotation. So let's get right into it. For talents, for the 15 tier here, you want to use Lunar Inspiration. It has the most damage because you can dot up multiple targets with it, and it's also an additional dot which adds more pressure with your bleeds, so it's the best skill here by far. The other two are not worth mentioning in PvP, at least. For the 30 tier, it's between Wild Charge and Displacer Beast. This is situational. Displacer Beast is better against situations where you need to get out of the way really fast and hide around the corner, stay out of LOS, and heal up, because it allows you to quickly exit the scene and able to heal up or LOS out of a Chaos Bolt or something like that, a full moon. So Displacer Beast is completely viable, is pretty good. 30-second cooldown is also pretty good. Wild Charge is also viable because it's a 15-second cooldown, so it's half Displacer Beast. It allows you to stick on your target very well, which is important for Feral. So between these two, situational, as I say. You pick between the situation. For 45, these three are definitely viable. It all depends on the comp, and I'll explain it. Balance Affinity is best against comps that can root you, because let's say you're playing a Frost Mage, right? And the Frost Mage uses Frost Nova, and usually what Frost Mages do when they do that is they sidestep one step to get out of your attack range. So when they do that now, when you have Balance Affinity, you'll still be able to smack them while you're rooted, so you waste less time shape-shifting out. So it's pretty good for that. It's also good for chasing opponents because you have an additional 5 yards on your Wild Charge. Especially it makes it go 5 yards longer, and it makes your attacks go longer. So when you're chasing someone, you're more likely to kill them. Guardian Affinity is strong when you're being focused. It has the best damage mitigation out of all the affinities. And it's really good against melee comps because they do lots of damage to ferals, and Guardian Affinity helps you deal with that. For Resto Affinity, the best situation is in 2s, or when your teammate's guaranteed to be the main focus, because the passive helps them stay alive a little bit. And it's good in 2s because you're going to be kiting a lot. And when you kite, you can use rejuvenation as you're running around and heal up, and then get back into fight. So it's good for that. For the 60 talent tier, Mightly Bash, hands down the best, because you're able to stun for 5 seconds, which means they can't do anything while that's happening to them, and the other two they can. So basically, if you Mightly Bash a healer in Arena, he can't heal, and you're going to be doing damage with your dots over time while the healer is stunned. For 75 tier, Soul of the Forest, definitely the best for long-term fights, because you're gonna have a hard time running out of energy when you keep getting it back every time you spend combo points. It's really good for AoE pressure. Any fight you think is gonna be really long, pick Soul of the Forest. Incarnation, King of the Jungle. Any fight where you could think you can bait out the healer's defensive or somebody's defensive cooldown before you use this, definitely pick Incarnation. It's a 30-second kill shot. It makes it so you can stealth in combat, which gives you Rake a stun, which is very key in disrupting the healer, especially in Arena, so it's very good. And it's very powerful, like let's say when a Druid wastes his Iron Bark before you use Incarnation, and then you pop it after his Iron Bark runs out, you're going to be able to kill him most of the time if he doesn't CC you. So very strong talent, definitely viable. And Savage Roar, decent, but I'm going to say it's mostly for BGs, because in Arena you don't want to waste combo points or energy. But in the BG you can, and the additional 25% damage on each dot is really high, and it makes your damage spike in BG specifically. So all these three are viable. You pick accordingly. For 90, it's between Jagged Wounds and Wounds Guidance. Jagged Wounds is definitely the best in my opinion, because it makes your bleeds do 33% more damage, because the time it finishes is 33% less, which means you're going to be applying more dots, doing more damage. Wounds Guidance isn't bad, but I would not recommend using it. Only using it with Savage Roar for BGs. because it allows you to Savage Roar pretty much for free without wasting any energy, because to get the 5 combo points to get it, and it gives you back combo points after you use Savage Roar, so it's pretty convenient for that. For the 100th tier here, I'd recommend only using Brutal Slash or bloodtalons. Bloodtalons is definitely the best for arena. The bleed pressure from this is insane, especially when you use regrowth at 4 combo points and then you rake somebody and then you rip them. They're both 50% stronger. It's really nice bleed pressure. Brutal Slash is really good because it has a nice AoE slash, nice burst damage. However, in arena it's not the best because bloodtalons has more pressure. But in BGs, Brutal Slash isn't too bad because you can AoE a bunch of targets and hit a bunch of targets. Pretty fun, and it does good damage while you're doing that. For honor talents here, for the first section here, the best is definitely Gladiator's Medallion. On command CC removal is the best for arena and even BG. For the second tier, Reinforced Armor is the best against casters by far. It increases your health, it increases survivability against casters. And versus melee, Sparring is definitely the best because it has a 20% chance of blunting their attack, which deals 50% reduced damage, so you'll be able to survive being trained harder by melees. So pick accordingly once again. Third tier here is also situational. I would say it's between Protector of the Grove and Thorns. Against melee, you're definitely going to want to go Thorns. It's really high damage when they train into it, because every time it hits you, it does 5% of your health in nature damage, so it's pretty strong. If your teammate is likely to be trained down by a caster cleave, I'd definitely go with Protector of the Grove because it makes it so every single regrowth you cast on a teammate is always a crit, and it reduces the cast time of your regrowth by 50%. So you can cast it really fast and it crits, so you can heal for a good amount. So if a healer is CC'd and you know your teammate needs healing, you're going to be the emergency response situation with this specific skill, so it's pretty good. For the fourth tier here, all of them are viable once again. Savage Momentum, best against healers because you get more energy, which means more dots, which means more damage, so it's very good. Freedom of the Herd is also very good against team comps to have a lot of roots that can stop you from getting kill shots, because it removes all roots, even from your allies nearby, while using Stampeding Roar. So it's good for getting kill shots when you think they're going to root you when you're trying to kill them. It's good for that, and it's basically a good chasing skill. Malorn's Swiftness is also pretty good, especially against 2 melees where you need to kite a lot and heal around the corner. It's good for that. It's good for defensive playstyle against melee because it's hard to slow you with it. So once again, these 3, up to you and up to the situation. 5th tier here, definitely King of the Jungle is the best because for every rip you have active, your damage and movement speed is increased by 4%, so you'll move faster and you'll do more damage for each rip you have. It's very good for arena. It's also good for BGs, so this is the only viable talent in my opinion. Between Fresh, for the 6th tier, between Fresh Wound and Ferocious Wound, the best one is definitely Ferocious Wound for arenas, I'd say, because the 25% health reduction is really strong with Incarnation. It gives you really good kill potential. Fresh Wound is good for AoE, like if you have to dot multiple targets all the time, like with Soul of the Forest, it's pretty good, because it basically makes Rake crit like all the time on someone that doesn't have Rake on them. So it gives you more combo points, which allows you to throw up more rips easier without wasting more energy. And that's pretty much it for the talents. Now, I'll explain the damage rotation, just so you can get an idea of how to play it. So basically, what you want to do is Lunar Inspiration your opponent, or in Arena, you go in Stealth, and you Rake him, and then you cast a Moonfire, and then you use Shred, until you have enough to use Rip, and then you either stick on him for a bit, or you move to the next guy immediately, do the same thing, get all the dots on him, and then move to the next guy, or you stun the healer, and that's basically the rotation. A good trick to know, however, is to use bloodtalons only at 4 combo points, because it makes it the most efficient. It gives you a fresh, nice Rip with a 50% buff after using a Rake, so it's very good. it makes it so the Rake and the Rip are 50% stronger. So it makes your damage much higher, so keep that in mind. And that's pretty much all you need to know to play Feral. Basically, remember what I said, adjust to the situation, learn to play against the situation, learn when to go defensive, you know, when to go in bear form and such. And you'll find that out just by playing PvP a lot, and it'll help you get a game sense of what's going on each matchup. And I hope this video helped you, and I'll probably make more guides in the future. I hope you guys have a good day, and peace out, guys.